are you? What are you doing here? Hey, disconnect that thing, now!
Please calm down, Dan. We have a mission to destroy the Lord of Dust under Good Luck's orders.
That voice! Virgil? And you said good luck?
Dan, it is my assumption that you are now the last surviving official member of the Karen Corps. It has been claimed that you killed the other members of the Corps. Is this true?
I haven't killed anybody! If you really were Virgil, you'd know that!
As I have lost part of my memory, I am unable to verify.
Captain, from observing his reactions thus far, he appears to be in sound mental health. Contrary to what Seth said, I believe it would be worthwhile to hear his side of the story.
Wait, you said Seth? So he is involved with this! Where is he? Tell me! Damn! I knew they were working with Wanderers!
Wanderers. You must engage them.
Captain, the discrepancy between Seth and Dan's assertion hinders our ability to grasp the situation. I recommend you return to the SC so we may discuss how to proceed from here. Objective complete. Please return at once. Defend the transporter until the reactivation process is complete. is your stamina. You should rest before you're out of gas.
Time to analyze the data. Please synchronize.
So you ran into Dan again? He's lost his mind. I wouldn't put any stock in what he has to say.
Virgil's analysis showed that there was nothing wrong with Dan mentally.
Judging from records, it appears that someone betrayed the Corps, and that is what led to its downfall.
And that someone is Dan.
If Virgil's analysis is correct, Seth's story runs counter to the facts. Is he actually the survivor Goodluck was talking about?
In any case, shouldn't we decide on what our next move is?
Analysis of the data we collected on Sahelanthropus reveals it does in fact possess a powerful armament. If we're able to get it working, we just might be able to use it to destroy the Lord of Dust.
Just like I said. See? I'm not lying.
Well, since we don't know who's telling the truth, why don't we secure it ourselves for now? It'd be dangerous to leave it there anyway.
I don't want to believe either of them's working against us, but the way things are, I think that's a good idea.
All right then, it's settled. Looking forward to seeing Sahelanthropus back here, Captain.
Sorry, Seth, but until we know what's going on, we gotta keep an eye on you.
Do as you please. But I am not your enemy. You of all people know that. Right, partner?
We'll use a wormhole to secure Sahelanthropus. Place the wormhole digger near it.
Rely on you too much. Sorry.
before you're out of gas. Place the wormhole digger near it. Activate the wormhole transporter and expand the area you can search. Okay, prepare for defenses. When you're ready, access the digger and begin digging.
most likely aware, securing the weapon will take a little bit of time. And as usual, you can expect Wanderers to attack. Are you prepared?
Sahelanthropus is an essential asset for combating the Lord of Dust. Be sure to protect it. Your life has dropped. You should secure your immediate surroundings and then heal yourself.
Captain. Captain.
We'll use a wormhole to secure Sahelanthropus. Place the wormhole digger near it.
Place the wormhole digger near it. Activate the wormhole transporter and expand the area you can search. Okay, prepare your defenses. When you're ready, activate the digger and begin digging. process is complete. Captain. Wait. Stop. You're about to leave the mission area.
weapon will take a little bit of time. And as usual, you can expect Wanderers to attack. Are you prepared?
Sahelanthropus is an essential asset for combating the Lord of Dust. Be sure to protect it.
Captain. Captain.
We'll use a wormhole to secure Sahelanthropus.
Place the wormhole digger near it.
Just remembered I never finished that book.
Get going.
Sahelanthropus is an essential asset for combating the Lord of Dust. Be sure to protect it.
We'll use a wormhole to secure Sahelanthropus.
Captain, you're most likely aware securing the weapon will take a little bit of time. And as usual, you can expect wanderers to attack. Are you prepared?
Sahelanthropus is an essential asset for combating the Lord of Dust. Be sure to protect it.
betrayed us. He's taken Chris hostage. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I can't believe I gave him a chance to... Damn it!
Don't blame yourself, Reeve. You did very well indeed.
Bastard! That's close enough!
Someone might get hurt.
Reeve, I'm sorry.
What's your game anyway? What could you possibly gain by doing this?
You'll find out soon enough. All you need to do is stand back and watch. Okay, Virgil. Your turn. Activate the wormhole transporter. Destination: base camp.
We cannot accept that order.
That's AI for you. You don't care what happens to this child, do you?
Activating transporter.
No, we can't. We can't endanger the entire crew just to save Chris.
Activating.
Good. Now come with me, Virgil. There's something else I need from you.
Understood.
Wait. Our actions in this matter have been irrational.
Just go along with it.
Been paying attention, partner? Meet me back at base later. Become one of us. If you do what I say, I'll release the boy. But you better come alone. If I see anyone else, I'll kill the boy right then and there. Got that? You heard the situation, Captain. Get back to the FOB. Why the long face, Chris? You scared of dying now all of a sudden? That stench. You're just like I was when I ended up here and gave up on living. That's the stench of despair coming from you.
You're right, you know. I won't live to see 20 with my disease. If you're going to kill me, you might as well just do it.
You poor child. But you needn't worry. Simply join us, and you shall despair no more.
You keep saying us. Who's us? You're working with others?
Indeed. We are everywhere. We are very well acquainted.
Don't tell me.
Yes, the Wanderers. But there is more. What you call the Dust. That is our true form. A calm, sophisticated intelligence. Far more evolved than mankind. That is who we are.
Dread Dust. What is that exactly?
We began as an invention of your world. We possess the ability to absorb the properties of any kind of matter. But as our numbers grew, we started to develop new traits. Those of a colony. These included infecting intelligent life, producing a resonance effect, and generating energy. The energy you've been using to generate your wormholes. That is created when we coalesce and crystallize. Surely no one is more aware of our magnificence than you.
Oh no.
But Seth, unlike other Wanderers, a substantial part of your human personality appears to remain. Why is that?
It was determined that this would be the most effective avenue to achieve our goal of endless propagation. It certainly was when it came to bringing the majority of the Charon core into the fold.
How could you do such a thing?
Such a thing, child. Our physical forms have no individual intelligences of their own. Not in the truest sense. The dust has been dispersed into the atmosphere. We continually send and receive information with one another. This enables us to exist as a colony with one will and one intelligence. So you see, it is a wonderful thing. For when there is only one will, neither confrontation nor conflict can occur. There is no greater form of companionship. But sadly, there is hardly anyone or anything left in this world to join us. That is why we've turned our sights to yours. Our arrival will bring the peace mankind has yearned for 10,000 years, yet has failed to achieve.
That cannot be called peace.
You have been poisoned by the humans, Virgil. AIs like you two should be on our side. But it looks like no amount of talk is going to convince you. So we're just going to have to take the information we need.
What? Where? AI network intrusion. Anomaly detected.
Virgil! Stupid legs!
Don't you try to move. Finally! The wormhole control technology we've been waiting for! Now all that's needed is the power of Sahelanthropus.
You're not gonna get it!
What?
You're not gonna get it! Because the captain's gonna stop you!
Been looking forward to this, Captain.
You really think it's okay to let the captain go alone? I don't agree with this. It's like we're standing back and watching the captain die.
Okay, well, how about this? There's more than one transporter around there, right? Somebody else teleports in somewhere besides base camp, then goes in and checks out the situation first.
I thought of that too, of course. But I took a look, and all the transporters besides the one at base camp have been locked down. Seth must have ordered Virgil to do it. The way things stand, it's all up to the captain.
That's a real pickle you're in.
Hey, hear that? How'd you get in here?
Your security could use some work. A lot of work, actually. Of course, that's probably the least of your concerns right now. I overheard your little power. Seth pulled a fast one on you guys too, huh? What do you say I lend you a hand?
How?
I have a way to resolve your current predicament. I've got the transporter control program I prepared after the core was wiped out. Since Virgil had nothing to do with it, Seth won't be expecting it. Originally, I was going to use it to transport Sahelanthropus. But it looks like now might be the time for it.
Transport Sahelanthropus?
To destroy the Lord of Dust, of course. That son of a bitch attacked us. Killed a bunch of us. Thinking back on it, I bet you Seth was responsible for that. He tried to split us apart all along. Sahelanthropus' railgun is the only thing left in this place that can damage the Lord of Dust's shell. I was gonna use it myself. Maybe help the others rest a little easier, you know?
Setting aside whatever you have planned, we'd be grateful if you'd let us use this program.
So who's gonna go with the captain?
I'll go in ahead, check things out. If everything looks good, I'll get as close to base camp as I can. Once I'm in position, Captain, you distract Seth for me. We gotta save Chris. And Virgil, of course.
Reeve? Please be safe.
This is Reeve. I've arrived near base camp. Come on through when you're ready, Captain. He won't know what hit him. I've completed my approach to base camp. When you're ready, go use the transporter.
So you've decided to join us? Very well. We welcome you. Don't be afraid. Soon, you will know. Know just how very small and lonely human existence has been. Join us. Paradise is here.
Come with us!
Captain! Captain!
I've completed my approach to base camp. When you're ready, go use the transporter. Captain, Chris is safe. Now let that son of a bitch have it.
I will be here to back you up, and it's a privilege to do so.
The captain's awake.
Captain, try to remain calm as I update you. After you lost consciousness, it is apparent that the unknown life form, the dread dust, which was inactive within you, has been reactivated through contact with Seth. At this rate, in the not-too-distant future, you will likely turn into a wanderer. There is only one way to stop the infection from spreading, and that is to destroy the Lord of Dust.
Seems so.
I say we kill this captain. Or at least we should lay a strict watch.
Hey, now hold on. The captain saved all of us. If it wasn't for the captain, we would have been dead a long time ago. We can't just...
You want to see someone you care that much about turn into one of those things?
I don't think we need to eliminate, or even lock up, the captain.
Why do you say that?
Because I believe in the captain.
Well, belief isn't gonna stop an infection. If we do let the captain continue to lead us, we need to establish how much time we have.
In that case, I can present a figure. The captain has 12 days remaining. The same amount of time it will take the infection to overwhelm me.
You're infected? Why didn't you tell us?
Allow me to explain this. At one point while I was participating in the Karen Corps' mission, I became infected with the dread dust, and it began to spread within me. At that time, I temporarily quarantined all of my networks to protect myself. I rewrote my programming to enable infected areas and non-infected areas to function independently. As a result, my awareness was divided into two, and this personality was born.
Why are you only telling us this now? Did Good Luck orchestrate this confession too?
No. Like the captain, when we came into contact with Seth, our countermeasures were disabled, and the dread dust began to spread once more. This resulted in my independent networks being rejoined, and my records of the Karen Corps' mission were restored. At the same time, I was able to access all information Seth. Dita does not exist in a dimension separate from your own. This is your world. This is its future. This is Earth in the 22nd century. Everything exists within a single timeline. Beginning several decades after your lifetimes, the world has been destroyed over and over. The cause of this time loop is the monster we know as the Lord of Dust. The Lord of Dust appears to be an aggregate of dread dust. To satisfy the dust's instinct to propagate, the Lord of Dust uses a wormhole to travel to the past, where it assimilates everything it can, thus destroying the world. Continuing to exist in that world, the Lord of Dust then travels back to the past through another wormhole, repeating the process. In this way, the world is trapped in endless cycles of destruction. From analyzing the memories of the dread dust, it appears its origin can in fact be traced to the invention of medical nanomachines. However, how many cycles ago the dust emerged, that is unclear. The only way to stop this process is to destroy the Lord of Dust. Fortunately, of all the temporal axes in which the Lord of Dust exists, the one in this time is the weakest in terms of its energy stores. Given the state it is in right now, if we use Sahelanthropus's armament, namely the Archaea blades and the railgun together, it is theoretically possible to destroy it. However, the destruction of the Lord of Dust will have one negative effect. Assuming the cause of all loops is the Lord of Dust, there is an extremely high probability that its destruction will mean the coordinates for the wormhole connecting this time and your time will no longer be valid. In other words, destroying it may mean you will never be able to return to your time.
No.
But please, you needn't worry. I won't let that happen to you. If you prepare the weapons for the attack, then once you have all traveled through the wormhole back to your time, I can destroy the Lord of Dust myself.
But in that case, you'd be trapped here forever, wouldn't you? Virgil? Virgil!
Massive gravitational anomaly detected. Oh my. My presumption is, this is the Lord of Dust itself preparing to generate a wormhole for time travel.
At some point, it will likely come to attack our base of operations. That is, base camp. As currently, our presence is the one thing that can stop it from achieving its goal. Estimated time of attack is 11 days from now. Exactly 1 day before the infection will...
You must finish your preparations to intercept the Lord of Dust before then. The railgun will only require some standard repairs. But the issue is the other weapons needed to strike at the Lord of Dust. The Archaea Blades.
The greater part of these weapons systems are dependent on the actions of a special group of organisms called the Metallic Archaea. However, these metallic archaea have had to alter their composition in order to survive in an environment now full of dread dust. Therefore, the archaea blades cannot function with their existing control program. So with the metallic archaea having adapted in composition, in order to use these weapons, we're going to have to modify their control program.
That won't be a problem. Other members of the Corps were working on that. Looks like all the time we put into Sahelanthropus wasn't a waste after all.
Where are they right now? Sorry. That was thoughtless of me.
It's alright. They got taken out by Wanderers. I was away working on something else. I know where they were. I'll pass on the information to Virgil.
From Dan's information, I pinpointed the location of the modified program. I've marked the objective on the map. Also, I detect a new memory board at the same site. The program is likely contained on the memory board. It must be
secured.
Good work. Hey, I have a favor to ask. Can you hear me out?
I've marked the predicted location. Take a look at the map.
Stay sharp.
I'm playing Metal Gear Survive, I'm playing Metal Gear Survive. Say something. Fuck Konami. Just fuck them. First of all, this should not be a Metal Gear game. Why is this a Metal Gear game? Metal Gear is a goddamn iconic franchise, and they're turning it into this generic cliche piece of shit zombie game. It's not like we have enough of those, right? It's not like we have enough of those, you know? But, so, I was a little bit surprised when I saw this game's beta. I didn't hear any news of this game for like 2 years, I think. When was it announced? I think it was 2016. I heard nothing. Then I saw this shit on the fucking PlayStation Store, the free beta, even though it said demo. But fucking, now I'm here. Now I'm here. I just said I have to record this. I have to record this shit. As you can see, my freaking guy, he looks amazing. He just looks the pinnacle of attractiveness. And we're in purgatory right now. Until we do this shit, it's just so bad. This game, I mean, the graphics are alright. I like the character model. It has some kind of weight to it, which I like. But, like, fucking, look at this shit. I have a fucking gamer tag. Is this Call of Duty or is this Metal Gear? They could have made a you know, a modern era Call of Duty game with Raiden and fucking, I don't know, you know, Sunny or whatever. They could have made one with Raiden. They could have fucking made it with what are some other characters? Ah, shit. I mean, they wouldn't make it with Snake, but because he'd probably be dead at that point. But fucking, like, my point is, they did not have to make this a fucking. They ruined it. They ruined it. I had high hopes. I had high hopes that maybe Konami wouldn't be complete dickheads and actually do something good for once. But they absolutely just, they took a great franchise and they said, fucking, no, fuck you. Okay? Alright, what the fuck was that? Oh shit, I'm not gonna go do this training shit, okay? Oh, that's how you equip your pistol, okay. What do I do? I guess I go here, use X. But, this game, it's like an expansion for Metal Gear Solid 5. It reuses assets, like the loading shit and most of the graphics, it's using the assets from Metal Gear Solid 5, which I don't like. Could have gave us, I mean, now that I think about it, they could have given us Metal Gear Solid Rising 2. Rising Revengeance, I think. That would have been great. I would have liked that a lot better, to be honest. Would have made a lot more sense, but I guess Konami gotta have their fucking money, you know what I'm saying? Alright, time until the mission. Let's go. Let's fucking play this game, okay? I don't like this. There's no character, there's no heart, there's no soul, there's nothing that makes it a Metal Gear game. It's shit! It's like a fucking arcade game. Jeez. They had to fuck it up, didn't they? Alright, I'm playing online. What's going on here? Well, this is pretty boring. I'm just gonna run past these guys. Oh, I have to stop. You know, there's a zombie right behind you, dude. You'd think you'd be a little bit more worried. I also think oh, dude, look at this shit. Oh, I actually like the soundtrack. It sounds like Metal Gear Solid 2. Or Metal Gear Solid 3. I actually really like the soundtrack. Gear Solid 3 combined with a little Metal Gear Solid 2. Okay, yeah, wow. This is, I'm walking at a, hold on, let me see how fast these things can run. Alright, come on. Let's go, big boy. What are you gonna do? Oh, okay, you're gonna get me? Come on, boy. Let's do it. Come on. Come on. What, you can't hit me? Come on, I'm right in front of you. You can't fucking hit me? I'm not doing anything. What are you doing? Are you autistic or something? This zombie's fucking retarded. Just gonna walk away at a slow pace. Wow. I think I have like a time limit or something, but I'm not sure. Are they even reacting to me? Like, what the fuck? This game is so fucking bad. Oh my god, this is shit. It is truly shit. I'm not even running away or anything. You do that, I don't care. Come on, come and get me. I'm right here. Come and get me. I'm right in front of you. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. Hey, don't do that. Alright, you know what? It really is not really all that scary, to be honest. I don't know what the fuck. Oh shit. What the hell? What just happened? Why did it just explode like that? I think it's going for like a Resident Evil kind of thing. Because the enemy is kind of don't die immediately. Zombies in this game are kind of autistic, to be honest. They don't really give off a zombie feel like you're actually in danger. They just like run around and do their own thing, so. Oh, I have to activate it. I didn't activate it? I wasted all that time and I didn't even activate it. Seven bullets left. What the hell? Wait, one. It wasn't even. Oh, it's still timed? This game sucks. God, this is one of the worst fucking zombie games. See what I mean? It's reusing assets. Like, you had to do the same thing to get. What the fuck is going on? This is complete shit. This is like supposed to be possible. Dude, they die in like 2 fucking hits. God. Anything gonna happen? No. God, how is this? In what way is this a fucking Metal Gear game? In what way? There's nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing that would indicate it as a freaking Metal Gear game. Oh my God, zombies! No, no, please don't hurt me. Oh, they're going through the thing. Don't hurt me. How do I? Come on. Switch to shit. Other weapon. Dude, other weapon. God damn. Oh. How do I do it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I win. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. That is so fun. I really hate this game. This fucking sucks, Nick. I hate it. I really do. I really fucking hate it. Instead of playing as, say, Solid Snake, Raiden, fucking Otacon, Ching Li, I guess. No! We have to play as fucking generic person. Sucks dick. Okay? Shit. Ha! God, I spilled some soda. God. Okay, that's realistic. Windows just, you know, break when you try to get in them. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to be getting ammo? What is going on?
However you do it, please heal yourself quickly.
How do I use them? What the fuck? Okay. How do I reload my shit? I have no ammo. Really does not explain much to you, does it? Hold on, let me just craft. Oh no, zombies, they're gonna kill everyone if I don't stop them. Oh my god. No, don't kill anyone. Oh god! Okay, that's actually pretty fucking terrifying. I don't have any ammo. Okay, that's pretty creepy actually. I'll go with that. Oh shit, is that thing gonna... Oh god, oh! What the fuck is happening? Die? To this game? What the fuck? That is bullshit. This game is not fucking fun. Never buy this game. They don't even have the... Are they gonna say anything? There's no, like, snake, snake, snake! There's just nothing. Just game over. Look, there's no heart. There's no soul. It's supposed to be goofy. Where's the cheese? There's no cheese. There's no cheese in a Metal Gear game. There's no cheesy shit in a fucking Metal... Are you serious? I'm gonna go play Metal Gear Solid 3 on my Xbox 360. I'll see you guys fucking later. Hashtag fuck Konami. Spread the word. This game sucks massive dick. Start a pension to make Konami make us, you know, a main series game. And not this shit Metal Gear Solid. So I'm playing Metal Gear Survive. I'm playing Metal Gear Survive. First of all, I just have to say something. Fuck Konami. Just fuck them. First of all, this should not be a Metal Gear game. Why is this a Metal Gear game? Metal Gear is a goddamn iconic franchise, and they're turning it into this generic cliche piece of shit zombie game. It's not like we have enough of those, right? It's not like we have enough of those, you know? But, so, I was a little bit surprised when I saw this game's beta. I didn't hear any news of this game for like 2 years, I think. When was it announced? I think it was 2016. I heard nothing from this game until now, aside from a couple trailers, free beta, even though it said demo. But fucking, now I'm here. Now I'm here. I just said I have to record this. I have to record this shit. As you can see, my freaking guy, he looks amazing. He just looks the pinnacle of attractiveness. And we're in purgatory right now. Until we do this shit, it's just so bad. This game, I mean, the graphics are alright. I like the character model. It has some kind of weight to it, which I like. But, like, fucking, look at this shit. I have a fucking gamer tag. Is this Call of Duty or is this Metal Gear? They could have made a you know, a modern era Call of Duty game with Raiden and fucking, I don't know, you know, Sunny or whatever. They could have made one with Raiden. They could have fucking made it with what are some other characters? Shit. I mean, they wouldn't make it with Snake, but because he'd probably be dead at that point. But fucking, like, my point is, they did not have to make this a fucking. They ruined it. They ruined it. I had high hopes. I had high hopes that maybe Konami wouldn't be complete dickheads and actually do something good for once. But they absolutely just, they took a great franchise and they said, fucking, you know, fuck you. Okay? Alright, what the fuck was that? Oh shit. I'm not gonna do this training shit, okay? Oh, that's how you do your pistol. What do I do? I guess I go here. X. But this game, it's like an expansion for Metal Gear Solid 5. It reuses assets, like the loading shit and most of the graphics. It's using the assets from Metal Gear Solid 5, which I don't like. Could have gave us. I mean, now that I think about it, they could have given us Metal Gear Solid Rising 2. Rising Revengeance, I think. That would have been great. I would have liked that a lot better, to be honest. Would have made a lot more sense, but I guess Konami gotta have their fucking money, you know what I'm saying? Alright, time until the mission. Let's go. Let's fucking play this game, okay? I don't like this. There's no character, there's no heart, there's no soul, there's nothing that makes it a Metal Gear game. It's shit! It's like a fucking arcade game. Jeez. They had to fuck it up, didn't they? Alright, I'm playing online? What's going on here? Well, this is pretty boring. Yeah, let me see, I'm just gonna run past these guys. Oh, I have to stop. You know, there's a zombie right behind you, dude. You'd think you'd be a little bit more worried. You also think dude, look at this shit. I actually like the soundtrack. It sounds like Metal Gear Solid 2. Or Metal Gear Solid 3. I actually really like the soundtrack. It's like Metal Gear Solid 3 combined with a little Metal Gear Solid 2. Okay, yeah, wow. This is, I'm walking at a, hold on, let me see how fast these things can run. Alright, come on. Let's go, big boy. What are you gonna do? Oh, you're gonna get me? Come on, boy. Let's do it. Come on. Come on. What, you can't hit me? Come on, I'm right in front of you. You can't fucking hit me? I'm not doing anything. What are you doing? Are you autistic or something? Are the zombies fucking retarded? Just gonna walk away at a slow pace. Wow. I think I have like a time limit or something, but I'm not sure. Are they even reacting to me? Like, what the fuck? This game is so fucking bad. Oh my god, this is shit. It is truly shit. I'm not even running away or anything. You do that, I don't care. Come on, come and get me. I'm right here. Come get me. I'm right in front of you. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, ow. Hey. Don't do that. Alright, you know what? It really is not really all that scary, to be honest. I don't know what the fuck. Oh shit. What the hell? What just happened? Why did it just explode like that? I think it's going through like a Resident Evil kind of thing. So the enemy is kind of don't die immediately. Zombies in this game are kind of autistic, to be honest. They don't really give off a zombie feel like you're actually in danger. They just like run around and do their own thing. So, oh, I have to activate it. I didn't activate it. I wasted all that time and I didn't even activate it. Several bullets left. What the hell? Wait, one. It wasn't even up. It's still time? This game sucks. God, this is one of the worst fucking zombie games. You see what I mean? It's reusing assets. Like, you had to do the same thing to get. What the fuck is going on? This is shit. This is like supposed to be impossible. They die in like 2 fucking hits. God. Anything gonna happen? No. God, how is this? In what way is this a fucking Metal Gear game? In what way? There's nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing that would indicate it as a freaking Metal Gear game. Oh my god, zombies. No. No, please, don't hurt me. Oh, they're going through the thing. Don't hurt me. Yes. How do I... Come on. Switch to... Shit. The other weapon. Dude, other weapon. God damn. Other... Oh. How do I do it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I win. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. That was so fun. Who the fuck is Kuban? I really hate this game. This game fucking sucks, Nick. I hate it. I really do. I really fucking hate it. Instead of playing as, say, Solid Snake, Raiden, fucking Otacon, Ching Li, I guess. No! We have to play as fucking generic person. okay? Oh, shit! Ha! God, I smelled some soda. Oh, God. Okay, that's realistic. Windows just, you know, break when you try to get in them.
Objective complete.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to be getting ammo? Can I just take them all? What is going on? How do I use them?
Time to analyze the data. Please synchronize your iDroid with me here.
What the fuck?
Oh, it's you. We have a bit of a problem. The program modifications were never finished. I'll play around with it, see if I can get it working. But my area of expertise is hardware. Might not want to get your hopes up.
Mind if I take a look at it?
Huh? You think you can fix this, kid?
Hang on. I need to take a look first. Yeah, I think I can work with this.
Well, I'll be. Kid, you are something else. All right. We'll leave the Archaea blades to Chris. I'll get the railgun working. Wait till that thing gets a load of this. Captain, we'll prepare the weapon. In the meantime, go get the energy we need to return home. You should find some information about the location of new singularity areas close to the FOB in the memory board you secured.
From the data you just obtained, I've identified the location of a singularity. All right, Captain. Head for the singularity and transport the wormhole digger.
According to our projections, you'll be able to acquire from it the iris energy needed to return home.
How do I reload my shit? I have no ammo. Game really does not explain much to you, does it? Hold on, let me just grab. This game, they don't even have the. Are they gonna say anything? There's no like snake. There's just nothing. It's game over. Look, there's no heart. There's no soul. It's supposed to be goofy. Where's the cheese? There's no cheese. There's no cheese in a Metal Gear game. There's no cheesy shit in a fucking Metal. Are you serious? I'm gonna go play Metal Gear Solid 3 on my Xbox 360. I'll see you guys fucking later. Hashtag fuck Konami. Spread the word. This game sucks massive dick. Start a pension to make Konami make us, you know, a main series game and not this shit. Metal Gear Solid 5 was okay, I guess, but I want to see the new era like Snake and shit. a solid snake, not fucking goddamn big boss. But I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
YouTube would learn a thing or two about running a company without causing everyone to hate them, but no, apparently YouTube has learned absolutely nothing and could not last one day in 2018 without screwing up yet again. Everyone knows the story already, but for argument's sake, let's review what happened. So old foot-face Logan Paul broke YouTube's guidelines by uploading footage of an actual corpse. But since the Paul brothers are YouTube's golden boys, YouTube chose not to enforce their rules and actually hand-picked the video for their trending page. They allow this content on trending while simultaneously demonetizing regular users' content at record proportions. They allow this content on trending just a month after the concerns of child endangerment forced YouTube to scramble and try and save their image for advertisers. YouTube kept this video trending while taking down other users' videos pointing out YouTube's unscrupulous hypocrisy. YouTube allowed this video to stay online for over 2 days before Logan Paul himself took it down, only after receiving the biggest backlash against a single YouTuber I've ever witnessed. Logan Paul was the #1 Twitter trend for about a day straight. Pretty much every big YouTuber from across the board came out expressing how terrible Logan's video was. The video was picked up by the biggest news outlets and Logan Paul became a global embarrassment. And YouTube did or said nothing about it for more than a week. So just when everyone had moved on to Ugandan Knuckles or whatever, YouTube finally comes out and says, "Oh, okay guys, y'all are right. Logan Paul did a bad thing and now we're gonna put him in timeout." 9 days after it happened. Now, I don't know if YouTube receives their news by horseback, but considering they're a website on the internet, one could infer that YouTube was aware of this situation for an awfully long time before doing anything about it. 9 days seems like a pretty delayed reaction to a massive scandal threatening the credibility of your entire site. So how come YouTube had to spend 9 days deciding whether or not to discipline a guy who everyone immediately agreed is a disgrace to the website? What on earth took them so long? Well, I'll tell you what took them so long. YouTube spent more than a week mulling over whether or not to keep Logan Paul as their poster boy. It's no secret that ever since PewDiePie's little racism controversy from last year, YouTube has been grooming Jake and Logan Paul as the next faces of YouTube. They constantly promote their content. They give each brother a nice shiny YouTube Red series, they promote the hell out of that, and they put the Paul brothers front and center in the YouTube Rewind. It's so obvious that YouTube is playing favorites with these washed up Disney Channel stars and trying to make them the face of their brand. They ignored all the warning signs. They ignored all the controversy and evidence that the Paul brothers lack the stability and the maturity to represent the entire YouTube community. Stevie Wonder could have seen that the Paul brothers aren't exactly the most professional candidates to represent the second biggest site on the web. As a matter of fact, they're kind of idiots. But no, YouTube ignored all of that and went ahead with the Paul Brothers World Tour. And what do you know? They acted like idiots and embarrassed the whole platform. But the problem for YouTube management was that they had spent the past 6 months putting all their eggs in the Paul basket. And then they go ahead and just fail so spectacularly that they make YouTube's leadership look like a bunch of hapless morons for even putting them in that position. I mean, how could they not see this coming? So the Paul brothers' dumbass hijinks force YouTube to contemplate backtracking the past 6 months of their marketing and put them back to square one in finding their new poster child for the site. I'm guessing that YouTube didn't want to waste all of that effort, so they tried to wait it out and hope that the controversy would just blow over. But too bad for them. The Logan Paul video turned into one of the biggest internet shitstorms in recent history. Let's be honest here. This was an unsalvageable situation after day one. Yet it took YouTube more than a week to even respond to the issue. And YouTube's actual response just pissed me off so much that I honestly would have felt better if they had just continued doing nothing. At least then they could feign a shred of ignorance rather than forming the startling implication that they spent over a week contemplating whether or not they should keep this guy as the face of their site. But no, YouTube finally responds to the biggest public outrage they've faced in recent history through a whopping 5 tweets. So let's take a look at those.
Many of you have been frustrated with our lack of communication recently. You're right to be. You deserve to know what's going on.
Yeah, you're right. I think frustrated is a bit of an understatement at this point. But way to go, YouTube. I'm so glad you're finally amending your lack of communication by releasing 5 entire tweets. I guess it's too much to ask for you guys to make an actual press release, or a video, or anything more than a few sentences that probably took 5 minutes to write. But I'm glad you guys care so much about the issue that you're responding to it 9 days late in the form of 5 tweets. So let's see what YouTube has to say.
Like many others, we were upset by the video that was shared last week.
Really?
If you're a financially independent person out there who spends, has monthly budgets and stuff like that, you should be able to make several $100s or probably more than $1,000 a year just ripping off credit card company. Actually, I don't want to say it's ripping off. Technically, it's just applying the terms of service in a tactical way. I've done this for a couple years. It's an easy way to make huge amounts of money back. Everyone should do it. So, everyone knows that you can get cash back on credit cards, but that's like small fry stuff. That's 5% cash back, that's so great. No, that's newbie stuff. Let me tell you what I do, okay? You take credit cards, you take out credit cards, use them, pump and dump them for their introductory offers, and then cancel them or disable them, okay? That's the gist of it. So here, let me give you an example. Here is a card. This is a Wells Fargo Cashwise Visa. I'm showing you it because it doesn't have my number on the front. But I'll tell you the story of this card. I got this card around a year ago when I moved to where I am now. I got it because it has this nice little introductory offer, and it says if you spend $500 in the first 3 months of having this card, you get a credit on this card of $200. That is $200 free. Okay, so when I was moving here, I knew, okay, I'm going to have to rent a U-Haul, I'm going to have to rent a little trailer to attach my car to the U-Haul and bring all my stuff down there, and I'm going to have to pay for gas. That, all of that together is probably going to be around $500, even if it's a little less. I'm going to use $500 within the next 3 months, okay? So I got this card, I paid for the U-Haul and the gas, right up to $500. I got my $200 free, and I used it on whatever I want. I went on a big shopping spree, getting all the stuff I needed for a new house. And then what did I do? I threw this card away. I'm never going to use it again. I don't know what its terms are. I don't care. I don't care about APR. You've got to be dumb if you actually use APR. Everyone should just pay off all of their credit card balance all the time. So that card, I'm never going to use again. In fact, it's deactivated. Even if you stole it, even if you saw the number, you can't even use it, okay? So that is what I do. And you know what I did after this card? Here's the thing. What they want you to do when you get a nice introductory offer is, wow, this card gave me $200 free. I love this card. I'm going to use it forever. No. Pump and dump. Get rid of the card and get a new card that gives you the same kind of offer. And there are dozens of these, okay? So that's what I've done. I use one card. Once I've gotten the introductory offer from it, I go to the next one. Here's the card I have right now. It's a Bank of America card. It is, I want to say you spend $1,000 within the first 3 months, then you get a credit of $250, or credit or maybe points that's like 25,000 or something like that. That's $250, okay? So $1,000 over 3 months, that's just about my monthly expenses. I mean, I have close to $200 in fixed expenses and bills every month. So that's $600 for 3 months, and then the other $400, I'm probably going to spend that on groceries and gas and stuff like that, other things that may emerge. So I'm not buying more stuff with this. Of course, they want you to buy more, they want you to go into debt, but I'm just using this for my daily expenses. The only difference is at the very end of this 3 months, I'm going to get $250 free bucks. Or even if you want to make a big investment, you want to get it, solar panels or I don't know, fix your computer or get a new computer or something like that. Taking out one of these cards for something you already are planning to do is a good idea because you're just going to get free money back. And when I'm done with this card, guess what I'm going to do? Never going to see it again. I'm going to put it in my safe of old disabled cards. That's going to be it. Okay? And I actually have a list on my computer of the next cards that I'm going to exploit in the order I'm going to exploit them. So as far as I'm concerned, think about the savings you make on this. Okay? If you spend $1,000, you spend $1,000 and you get 250 of that back. That is basically like for the, you know, and again, if that's my expenses over 3 months, that's basically like having a 25% off coupon on literally everything you buy. Or if you don't want to think of it that way, that's like, you know, over a year when you use a couple of these cards to do that, you know, that's like getting a free vacation or an extra paycheck or two, or you know, it depends on your situation, but it's free money. What are you going to do? Like, say no to it? It's no more difficult, you know, just setting up the, I mean, you just have to use this card instead of another one, okay? And just sort of mentally remember how much you have left, okay? Now, are there any downsides to this? Basically, no. If you look it up, there's a word for it. It's called credit card churning, I think. If you look it up, there are a bunch of shill sites that are trying to scare you away from doing it because it's, you know, terrible for banks. But the reality is, if you are a person with basic cognitive abilities, that is a person who immediately pays off all credit card debt and never spends more than they have. I don't know why anyone would do that on credit cards, but a lot of people do. I'm just pretending those people aren't listening to this video because they should be living with their parents, frankly, if you do that. But anyway, if you are someone who actually pays off your debt, there basically is no downside. There is a short-term, an apparent downside, and that is, in any case, if you open credit cards, if you apply for credit, you are going to have an inquiry on your account, which means your credit score might decrease by a little bit, or if you've opened multiple cards recently, my score decreased by like a dozen or so points when I first started doing this. But after that level, it actually only goes up. And the reason is, if you have, let's say you do what I'm telling you to do, and over the next 2 years you open like, I don't know, well, maybe a couple years, maybe you open like 10 cards or something like that, okay, and you exploit them all, you get a couple $100 per card. It actually looks really good on your credit score if you have a couple $1,000, maybe $100,000 open in credit that you have never used or gone into debt with. You've always paid off whatever you have. That actually looks really good on your credit score. So if you're applying for a mortgage next month, it might not be a good idea to open a credit card, even if you're just going to get free money from it. But for people who are more long game, you guys who are younger or don't necessarily plan on like making a big purchase that you need some kind of credit score for, yeah, there's literally no downside, so long as you're like not dumb enough to overspend on your credit card. That's where they want to get you. Don't let them get you there. But for anyone else, again, I never alter my behavior for this credit card. The fact that I get free money for this, I never let myself think about it. Sometimes I'll bring it up in conversation as a joke, but you know, all that I'm concerned with is just using my typical amount of money, and then I'll happen to get a couple free $100 in my account once that time is up, and I will go on to another card, and that's going to be it. So yeah, that is my recommendation. Again, it's like getting 25% off literally everything you buy, free vacation. It's actually pretty nice. The only reason I would not want to do this, and this is not a reason that a normie would not want to do this, but the only reason I wouldn't want to do this is just because credit cards, of course, are monitoring devices, but then again, so are debit cards, right? I mean, if you're one of those guys who's like, I want to use cash because I don't want the government to monitor me, or credit card companies to monitor you, that's an okay reason not to do this, right? But if you're already using debit cards, there's no reason you can't do this. And in fact, even if you're concerned about your privacy, I would sort of do the thing where, oh, I'll just buy credit in some account. Let's say you have the same power company, okay, that you're going to pay a bill for, you know, for however many years. You might as well just spend, you know, the $500 from this on that. That, of course, you know, the system is going to know you're going to be buying anyway, so it's not really it's not exposing your daily purchases to whatever, to these companies. So yeah, check it out. If the people watching this video do this, I don't know if the people on my channel do this, literally all of you can make several $100 in the first year, so long as you actually spend this amount of money, which I think most independent people usually tend to. So I don't know, we could all collectively just bankrupt, a credit card company or two. I will say that some of them like try and be smart about this, like let's say Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, of course, once I open this card, there's a rule at Wells Fargo. They say, oh, you can't get an introductory offer for another 15 months. Or there are some companies like Chase where they're like, oh, if you've opened 5 cards in the past 2 years, you can't open a card here. Because they know that people are going to exploit the system. But it's very easy when you're opening cards at different banks and you're getting one from some, like they can't really regulate it between them. That's the best part. So yeah, literally just free money. Oh, and if you have a wife, get her in on the gig. You can double your money. All right, you can milk every card twice. All right, so that's about it. That's your. Thanks, Biz, for watching.
You were upset by the video. Well, that really clears things up. For a second there, I thought you guys were going to be happy with the ass clown parading a dead body all over your platform. But it's good to know that the video upset you guys too.
Suicide is not a joke, nor should it ever be a driving force for views.
Yep, that's right. Suicide is bad. Glad you guys cleared that one up for us. Suicide is in fact bad, guy. We're already 3 out of 5 tweets in, and so far YouTube has told us that Logan Paul is upsetting and that suicide is bad. What a groundbreaking newsflash right here. It took them 9 days to figure out that the Logan Paul video is upsetting and that suicide is bad. I'm so glad YouTube is really giving us the information that we need. You're really improving your communication here, YouTube. But wait, that's not even the best part.
The channel violated our community guidelines. We acted accordingly, and we are looking at further consequences.
Yep. Showing a corpse on YouTube does in fact violate the community guidelines. Let's see here, YouTube community guidelines, and yep, no violent and graphic content. A hanging suicide victim is pretty violent and graphic. So that part checks out. It's good to see that YouTube is aware of their own community guidelines. In fact, the first half of this tweet is pretty accurate. But it's the second part of this tweet that...
That's not exactly true.
We acted accordingly?
What? What are you talking about?
What kind of devious, bamboozling, revisionist history is this? Did YouTube wait 9 days to respond to their biggest controversy in years because they thought we'd forget that they did absolutely nothing to enforce their own guidelines? They acted accordingly? Is it standard protocol at YouTube to put videos on trending when they violate your guidelines? Yeah, you certainly took down videos criticizing Logan's video, just not Logan's video. You let that one stay up for as long as you could, until Logan took it down. Wait a minute, do we live in a world where Logan Paul is better at enforcing YouTube's community guidelines than YouTube is? It's a real head scratcher for sure. I gotta hand it to you, YouTube. You blatantly lied to your community just 3 tweets after saying you're gonna improve your communication. That takes guts. It's too bad your lie was so obviously untrue that you got called out on it almost immediately.
Just own the mistake. Just own the fucking mistake. I hate defending you because I'm like, YouTube's trying, they're good, and then you get this fucking softball. You get this softball of a singular, easy to handle situation, and then you're like, we did everything accordingly. Shut, really? God, you're so stupid.
I guess one good thing that came out of this was that YouTube actually followed through with disciplining Logan. I thought they were just gonna give him a slap on the wrist and send him to bed without dessert, but as I was writing this, YouTube actually came out and punished Logan for his actions. They canceled his YouTube Red movie sequel and removed him from Google Preferred Advertising. Remember last year when PewDiePie messed up and YouTube punished him almost immediately? Well, how come it took them 10 whole days to decide to punish good old Footface here? And more importantly, why was Logan Paul granted these privileges in the first place? I know I talked about this already, but it bears repeating. Why did YouTube think it was a good idea to tout Logan Paul as the new face of YouTube? Was YouTube that desperate to find the next 12-year-old viewer magnet that they mortgaged the stability of their whole site by putting this guy at the helm? Anyway, YouTube just wraps up their big update with one final middle finger to the community. It's to mortgage the stability of their whole site by putting this guy at the helm? Anyway, YouTube just wraps up their big update with one final middle finger to the community.
It's taken us a long time to respond.
Yep, that's very true, YouTube. You're right again.
We know the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon on the steps we're taking to ensure that a video like this is never circulated again.
Oh, you're taking steps. Oh, goody.
YouTube is taking steps. Those must be some massive strides you're taking to actually enforce the guidelines that you yourself put in place. Seriously though, what steps even need to be taken here? Just enforce your own fucking guidelines, YouTube. This is all your fault. You brought all this bad publicity on yourselves. You put this guy in power, you let him post a video of a dead body while punishing the rest of us for even saying the word suicide. Just enforce your own rules equally to everyone on the platform. Stop letting these Google preferred idiots run around above the rules. Seriously, just man up and admit that you people fucked up. Stop with these bullshit wishy-washy politician responses. The problem here is not Logan retarded fuckface Paul. The problem is you, YouTube. The problem is fucking you. You people have zero accountability. You let all these unstable jackasses take the reins of your site while shafting your honest-to-God hardworking real YouTubers. Every time something like this happens, it's the same old shit. YouTube fucks up, people are outraged, YouTube comes up with some dopey half-assed apology and then everyone just forgets about it while all the smaller YouTubers have to pick up the slack. Are you people even aware that Jake Paul also had a fuck up at the same time as Logan's fuck up? YouTube still hasn't done anything to punish Jake. I'm sure he still has his Google Preferred and YouTube Red series. Well, that's a good thing for Jake, since no one noticed his fuck up because it was completely overshadowed by his brother's even bigger fuck up. Hey YouTube, why did you make these two the face of your website again? Do the people running YouTube even watch YouTube videos? Honest question here. How could no one working for YouTube realize that the Paul brothers weren't fit to be the poster boys of this website? Were they just too busy jacking themselves off to the analytics of the number of 5th graders these guys draw to the site? Whatever the cause, it's another huge fucking oversight that led to yet another big YouTube blunder that taints the image of the entire site. If this was just a one-time thing, then maybe you could excuse YouTube. But what is this? The 6th time YouTube has royally fucked up in the past 18 months? I've lost fucking count! It has become painfully clear that the true cancerous tumor that's killing YouTube from the inside is their managerial and business administration. At this point, it just seems like YouTube is run by a bunch of 40-year-olds with business and marketing degrees who have no idea how the internet actually works. You have all these glad-handing yes men who have never touched a video camera in their entire lives in charge of running the biggest video producing platform in the world. The fates of literally millions of would-be artists are under the control of about a dozen corporate suits in a boardroom somewhere in California. And you can chalk up most of this blame to good old Susan W., the vaunted YouTube CEO who really doesn't seem to do much of anything but sit on her ass and smile while this site rots. Under her tenure, YouTube has undergone by far the worst period in its history. Since old W took over in 2014, YouTube has endlessly chased pointless gimmicks and bells and whistles while ignoring the fundamental flaws of their platform. They chose to alienate their bread and butter core user base just so they could appeal to as much of the trendy idiot masses as possible who don't give a shit about the quality of the site. YouTube has been run so poorly over the past year and a half in particular that I would not be surprised if anyone in charge there spends more than 5 minutes a week watching YouTube videos. They just have to be completely oblivious to what's actually happening on YouTube based on the decisions they've made. Can you imagine if a company like Walmart or McDonald's fucked up as often and as severely as YouTube does on a regular basis? They would get slaughtered by their competitors. But the problem with YouTube is that they hold a de facto monopoly on user-generated video streaming. There's nowhere else to go. YouTube has the money and the advertisers, and until a real competitor appears that offers content creators a real financial incentive to jump ship, this site will continue to be run by incompetent people. YouTube's management doesn't even have to hold themselves to the same standards of companies like Facebook and Twitter. At least those companies have to answer to stockholders. Who does YouTube have to answer to? No one. They can run the site straight into the ground and they'll just be caught by the big old Google safety net. No one gets fired and everything just continues to get worse and worse, but not bad enough for anyone to actually get fired. YouTube has no accountability whatsoever. They barely communicate anything to the community, and when they do, it's usually just cryptic bullshit like this where they try and cover their asses by duct taping the gaping problems in their site, and they end up creating more questions than answers while solving nothing. And you want to know what the worst part is? Everyone buys it. Way to go, YouTube. You did something that should have been done 10 days ago. Here's a pat on the back and a gold sticker. We forgive you. When are you people gonna get your heads out of your asses and realize the real problem here? You chant ding dong the witch is dead every time the next jackass YouTuber finally gets his comeuppance, and then you move on to the next witch hunt. And then, 6 months later, you do it all over again, and again, and again. It's just an endless cycle because you people are not treating the real problem. You're treating a symptom of the problem. Logan Paul was never the problem. YouTube is the problem here. So stop focusing on trying to tear down the YouTubers and start focusing on the site that enables and propagates this toxic behavior. Stop giving YouTube a free pass just for doing the bare minimum of what's already common sense to most people. We need to hold the biggest video streaming site on the web to a higher standard. If we don't hold YouTube accountable for their problems, then no one else will. And yes, this is me going off on yet another YouTube rant. Boo-hoo, wow, so sad, complain, just unsubscribe already. I don't give a shit. Go watch one of the 10,000 Jake Paul rants if you don't like what you're hearing from me, and then come back to me when YouTube fucks up yet again in 2 months. But this video isn't about me. I don't even like making these videos. I wish I didn't have to make these videos. I'd much rather spend my time making actual genuine content that I enjoy. I'm just a guy who wants to make some videos and entertain some people. But this is an issue I have to talk about, because if I don't, nobody else will. And YouTube just makes it that much more necessary for me by being incompetent. I don't make these YouTube rants for views and attention. I don't make these rants for me. I make these rants because I want YouTube to be better. I make these rants because when I look at this site and see what it's become, it sickens me. At the end of the day, YouTube is still a good site with tons of upsides. But the fact that it could be so much better is just sad. And yes, I know it's difficult to run a massive site like YouTube, but when we've reached the point where pretty much every decision YouTube makes is hated by the majority of the community, maybe it's time to start asking the people running this site to be better. I'm so sick of all these people making excuses for YouTube. YouTube is not your friend. YouTube is not a benevolent mom and pop company. They're part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation that has access to any resources it could possibly need. So I don't want to hear how YouTube is just doing the best they can, because they aren't. The number of problems YouTube creates for itself on a regular basis is inexcusable for a company of its stature, and the people in charge clearly aren't equipped to run this site. And until these people are expunged from power, all these problems are just gonna keep happening. So is it too much to ask for the people running the second biggest site on the web to actually give a shit? Is it?
Before we get started with this, if you're a fan of his, I ask if you please watch this. Don't just immediately assume what I'm going to say and comment or dislike and leave immediately. In fact, if you are a fan of his, you need to see this more than anyone else here. I was personally subscribed for more than 2 years. It was the only thing I knew him from. I didn't follow him on any other media. And in that time, I never had any reason to believe he wasn't the person he says he is. But that's only because he lies, manipulates the truth, deletes evidence or anything he can just to make sure that people don't think bad of him. Evidence of the person he really is can be found with enough searching. Not all of it is shown in this video, so if this does intrigue you, search for it. There is a wealth of knowledge to be found just by searching his name on certain sites. If you're a patron or a fan, you deserve to know what he's really like and if he deserves your money or attention at all. Now, although I use evidence from the past, that is not my main point. In this video, I'm not trying to show you or expose him for how bad of a person he was 10 years ago. That's in the past. I am instead going to be showing you how bad of a person he is right now. So without delaying any further, let's start with the backstory. Now, Yandere Simulator and its creator have one of the most documented pasts of any game created, especially for an indie game. Its creator being Alex Mayan. If you don't know that name, you might recognize him more from a previous pseudonym, Evazephin, or more commonly known now as Yandere Dev. The game focuses on a character the players commonly know as Yandere-chan, clearly derived from the word Yandere, who is someone who has such an infatuation or strong obsession with another individual that their actions manifests as brutal towards anyone considered a romantic rival. Now, although the game portrays Yandere-chan as a completely hollow husk of a person, which, as pointed out by many, is not actually a yandere, the game does focus on removing romantic rivals possible through brutal means. In order for Yandere-chan to earn the love of a specific student, she must eliminate 10 rivals across a select period of time in a school sandbox environment. However, in its current state, none of the planned rivals have been implemented as rivals. Some of them do have models and in fact exist in the game, like the 4th rival. However, they don't even remotely resemble their final interpretation, seeing as they just kind of stand there or complete very basic actions like any normal character would. Although the date of the idea's original inception is unknown to us, the first time it was made public was in a serious 4chan post on the 1st of April 2014. In this post, Alex describes a brief outline of the game's possible mechanics while also asking for feedback and input from the forum itself. The reception was actually quite positive, with the occasional 4chan comments mixed in. Now, Alex's main motivation for wanting to create a game independently in the first place came from a man called Daniel Rima, who in 2008 made a game called Iggy. However, he still states this original forum post and the positive reception as the reason he pursued a yandere stealth simulator in the first place. However, looking back at the archived threads now, although a lot of the reception is positive, it is vastly overshadowed by the amount of comments that have shit all to do with the actual reason the post was created. This makes it unclear as to whether Alex genuinely felt the reaction was positive or he was latching onto any kind of positivity he could, no matter how small. Possibly due to his various previous ventures, which, as described by him, the reception was cold. No enthusiasm, no excitement. This negative attitude was felt in the reception of another one of his projects, simply titled by him as True Love, which instead of just getting the cold shoulder, received active mockery and ridicule. Unfortunately, unlike Yandere Simulator, the idea was not pitched on a public forum. As far as I can tell, there is no mention of it in the 4chan threads regarding the infamous Yandere dev. We have to go off his word alone. No matter the context the positive feedback was received in, it seems that development started almost immediately. Only 3 days after the original post was made on the 4th of April 2014, the Yandere Simulator website and the Yandere Dev YouTube channel were both created. Not only that, but both received immediate attention, with the channel hosting a video showing off the basic prototype design of the game, whereas the website received 3 on the 4th, 2 on the 5th, more throughout April, followed by at least 2 a month. Despite this, the posts contained actual substance relating to the game's content, not just vague hints at things to come, something terrible Kickstarters were synonymous with. And they fucking took people's money! So seeing a game that was receiving constant updates from the developer, all while receiving no money, was something to keep your eye on. Unbeknownst to Alex, as he garnered more of a following and more support, the previously silent criticisms against him and the game's flaws became more and more vocal. Which brings us to right now. Yandere Dev has over 2 million subscribers on YouTube, all the while earning more than $4,000 on Patreon a month, and the game has received around 5 million downloads as of 2015. Everything seems well for him, but digging just a bit below the surface brings to light a community that is growing so large it seems inevitable that Yandere Dev's ungraceful descent is soon to come. This community's distaste for the man is fueled by 2 main points. The first being, Yandere Dev is kind of a massive prick. Yandere Dev's existence by itself causes quite a few developments, which can be seen throughout his time using the Evazephin username, including this post from 2008, which can be aptly described with the word incel, describing his inability to socialize because of his looks and how admittedly self-conscious he is. However, if you want to know more about his time using the Evazephin username, go watch another video. I am not really going to mention it in this one. Instead, I'm going to expand into a flaw that is seemingly an eventuality of his self-conscious behavior. To some of you who have watched his videos, this one seems really unnecessary. There doesn't seem to be any point to it. Why are you making a video on Yandere Dev? He's so calm, he's so nice. He never expresses a side of anger in his videos, seemingly unable to. He's so loved, there's not even a comment out of place. Yeah, well, that's an issue in of itself, isn't it? Even the most loved idols of all time had people contrarian to them. But not Yandere Dev. No. On anything he has power over, negative criticism simply doesn't exist. The level of censorship he maintains on the mediums he controls and demands on the ones he doesn't borderlines on dictatorship. Trust me when I say, if he just took all the time he spends deleting comments criticizing him of not working on the game and just put them towards working on the game, it would have progressed a lot further than it has right now. This is one of the most criticized traits of Yandere Dev because of how often and without fair trial he will block someone or delete their comment, even if it's over something as heinous like a fucking meme. We must ban the memes. He presents himself as easygoing and nice, but that's because with enough planning you can apply any characteristic to yourself, especially through editing. No, the reality is Yandere Dev is not remotely like that. In his videos, he presents counterpoints and counter-arguments to deal with them swiftly, calmly, and with reason. But in real life, he flies off the handle like it's made of fucking butter. There are countless stories from previous or current fans detailing experiences they have had with him where they asked a simple question about development or gave development tips themselves, only to receive anything from a rude condescending message to a storm of aggressive responses and then getting banned if he fucking feels like it. For instance, he made his very own official Yandere Simulator subreddit, which is something I will get into later. However, on this subreddit that he has ultimate power over, you can't downvote anything. He physically removed the button to downvote things. That is just fucking censorship, you ignorant child. You have to go into your fucking preferences just to disable the page's ability to show you flares so that you can have freedom of speech. Holy shit, that is amazing. You can imagine how well this went over with the people on the original Yandere Simulator subreddit. I think it's fair to say that popular opinion of Yandere Dev is not looking too hot over there. Even when receiving genuine criticism, no matter the context it is presented in, Yandere Dev takes an aggressive stance almost immediately, as shown by this video by Stickman, which talks about mod implementation in the game. Stickman runs through a scenario he had previously while playing the game. He was using a mod that allows Yandere-chan to increase or decrease in size, and when he accidentally used it, it increased the size for a split second, and then this screen showed up, stating that because people report bugs that only occur due to the implementation of mods, his hand was forced, and now whenever this mod is used, he must strike down the player's game session without their consent. Stickman takes a concerned approach to this, to say the least, comparing his choice to shut down the game because of a mod to other companies that have lost touch with their fan base, like Nintendo, who refuses to let you monetize anything you create if it just remotely has their work in it.
If you're unfamiliar, last year Nintendo decided to flag a bunch of videos on YouTube for copyright infringement. They decided that they would take all of the income that was generated by these videos because they felt that they deserved it. This was met with such a public outcry, however, from YouTube creators, YouTube viewers, YouTubers in general, and the gaming industry as a whole, that they decided to repeal this almost immediately.
Furthermore, he states these actions are similar to companies that restrict or completely ban mods in their games, which causes quite a bit of backlash, obviously, especially if the game supported mods in its past. Although he doesn't give examples, a good one is Grand Theft Auto 5, which had an independent modding community running alongside the regular player base, with the game receiving overwhelmingly positive reviews. However, when Rockstar restricted the use of mods, it caused completely legitimate players who only use mods in single player, or just not at all, to be completely banned. This was because around that time, they added an update to their anti-cheat software to start catching modders. Unfortunately, the implementation of this caused a fucking terrible backfire. It's pretty common for games to validate files to see if they've been changed or modified to detect modders or cheaters. However, There is a lot of reasons that a game file can change. It seems none of these reasons caused exclusions, and anyone who had an unoriginal game file was just completely banned. That's actually what validating your games on Steam does. It checks the original file to the file you have on your computer, hopefully repairing the file and therefore fixing the game. It's invaluable for repairing files, but extremely fucking inaccurate, especially when used this poorly as an anti-cheat solution. Another common way to ban cheaters or modders is to detect third-party applications that are interacting with the game and ban them off that. According to a Discord user, FunnyPig, Rockstar was detecting people using MSI Afterburner and RiverTuner as modders and banning them. RiverTuner and Afterburner do not interact with the game at all. They're used to overclock computer hardware. So the reason these people were banned, people that have spent money on the game, was because of a terrible implementation of Rockstar's agenda. While the people who used RiverTuner and Afterburner were later unbanned, the damage was done. The player base was scarred. Even Total Biscuit disowned the game for its terrible implementation of its own agenda. This is why in a single month the game went from mostly positive to mixed, where it still remains to this day. Rockstar's and Yandere Dev's situations were quite similar, I feel. Both had games with independent modding communities. Both took the ability to mod the game away. In Yandere Dev's case, it was a single mod. The way they did this was quite poor. It was received very poorly by the community, and in turn they received backlash. Therefore, I feel Stickman comparing Yandere Dev to companies that have done similar actions is quite justified, especially when it's coming from a place of respect. Not even halfway through the video, he commends Yandere Dev for being active in the community and letting people use his game in videos, being active with content updates. With all that in mind, genuine criticism and an accurate example of a similar situation, all while coming from a fan. This was Yandere Dev's response. This is aggressive, hateful, childish, and just flat out fucking pathetic. He actually responded to people calling him out when this originally happened, where his main point is basically just, "Now I'm gonna use my naughty swear words as someone is, quote, an ass hat." Yeah, but he's not, is he? He displays himself as a fan of the game, packaging this criticism with the implication that he wants the best for Yandere Dev, the game, and the fans. Stickman does get slightly angry in this, even swearing at points, but that doesn't make him an arsehat. It makes him a passionate fan that wants the best for Yandere Dev, that doesn't want him to be hated by his fans. The dude is such a fan, he kept making videos on the game even with such a negative experience with its creator. Some of his fans may retort with the point, well, fixing bugs and checking emails ruins his schedule. It takes time away from working on Osana, basically saying that emails are slowing down content updates. No. Just like, no. That's not how it's supposed to work. This idea that emails slow down progress comes almost solely from Yandere Dev, specifically from a video a while ago titled Yandere Simulator's Biggest Problem. In said video, he states he receives an avalanche of emails, sometimes checking them for 8 to 12 hours, and as a result, he can't work on the game. Oh my fucking god, that makes no sense! He doesn't have to check emails in massive chunks of time. He doesn't have to read emails as soon as he gets them. He doesn't have to reply to every email. He doesn't have to fucking fix everything the moment it comes up. That's just poor time management. In the same light, he doesn't have to fix bugs the moment they arise. Not every bug is created equal. He can just allot a specific amount of time for fixing bugs and the rest for anything else. Yep. Let's impose a hypothetical situation here. Let's say he works 8 hours a day. 9 to 5, the classic job scenario from Monday through Friday. And he works 4 hours across Saturday and Sunday, 2 a day. An hour or 2 in the morning from Monday through Friday can be spent reading/responding to emails and writing down a list of bugs that you intend to fix. Obviously ordered by how important they are. There's no point fixing a bug where once every 10,000 game sessions, every student will be set back like 5 inches from when they're originally supposed to start. It just doesn't make any sense. When or if the bugs can be validated to actually exist and be reproducible, then on Saturday and Sunday, spend the time just fixing the bugs. That's it. The rest of the time can be allocated however the fuck you want. One thing you'll notice is that content updates have plenty of time to be worked on, but the time schedule will never change. It doesn't matter if he gets 2 emails a week or 250,000. The content updates will still arrive at the exact same time they always would have. But on the other side of the coin, if he manages his time efficiently, he can still gain a significant amount of productivity from checking and responding to emails. You just don't need 8 to 12 hours to do it. In most schedules, this sort of plan would be an absolute fucking disaster. However, because he is in the beta stage of developing a game, it's not intended to be finished. You don't really need to fix bugs until the final release. Even game-breaking crashes are completely expected at this point of the game's development. Nobody's going to get mad. Trust me. The game doesn't even run at 30 FPS. The fans of this game have been through some shit, alright? I don't think they're going to care if there's a few more bugs than there usually are. But the idea that modding this game creates more emails than he can handle relies on 2 assumptions. The first being that people are actively modding the game with this mod, and second, that people who are modding the game, people with the knowledge to mod and know what a mod is, still report the bug. Now, while videos with mods in them are very popular, videos teaching you how to actually mod are not by any means. It's not even totally accurate to treat this view count as the amount of modders in this community, because the interaction is terrible, which means people most likely didn't watch it and just didn't care. Now, if you narrow down this already tiny community to the amount of people who would have actually installed and used the height changer mod, then we've already reached some random insignificant number. Now we just have to add the assumption that the people using the mod are completely unable to tell that the mod is the causation of the bug. Oh my god, I grew to 300 feet and then the game stopped working. What could this possibly fucking be? Oh my god. Yandere Dev, please fix this. This game's unplayable. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is the amount of people sending in bug reports from using this mod are extremely small and going to be completely overshadowed by the amount of people sending in completely legitimate reports. So my stance is clear. I personally disagree with you stopping a mod's functionality because you just disagree with it or you don't want it. If you have a different opinion, that's fine. This is kind of a very personal choice, and in this case, I feel Yandere Dev does have the right to make it. I wasn't really arguing the decision itself, however, I was more arguing the how of the decision that matters, along with refuting an admittedly ignorant defense. The how of the situation being this image where he insults his fans, he insults a different group of his fans, and then just basically acts like a complete fucking smartass. This comes from a place of arrogance, because he believes that he's so right in his decision and everyone else is so wrong that they just don't understand the brilliance of his mind. That nobody else understands his quarrels as a game developer. Like, nobody else in the world has more fucking experience than him at anything. If you're a fan of his, just remember this. When someone criticizes him or his game, he doesn't distinguish between fan and foe. He will attack you with the same level of arrogance. He treats everything from an innocuous meme to death threats with the same kind of hostility. If Stickman's video was made criticizing a normal human being, they wouldn't have responded because there's no reason to. If the criticism isn't valid, there is no reason to respond. And if you are going to respond, do it politely, be concise. Don't be a fucking dickhead. Wow, I'm still fucking blown away by how stupid that response is. This arrogance is shown in all its glory whenever he tries to control something he in fact doesn't actually own. The 2 most notable websites related to the game that Yandere Dev doesn't control is the Yandere Simulator wiki page and the Yandere Simulator subreddit. The first one, not the new one. Despite their sole existence technically being because of Yandere Dev, neither of them have handed over ultimate power to him. Despite his avid requests, YandroidDev has, without consulting any admin or higher-up, just removed comments from the wiki page that he deemed to be harassment, which by his standard might have just meant a light sneeze in his fucking direction. His response to the admins telling him not to do that is pretty amazing in itself, because of course the blame can't fall on him. Of course it has to be someone else's fault. Like, oh, why am I able to delete comments if I'm not allowed to? Wow, nothing's my fault. The Reddit has also received quite a bit of negative attention from him, because very recently in a blog post he actually disowned the subreddit as unofficial, despite his continued use and endorsement of the page up until a week before the blog post was made. The comments on this Reddit post were not kind to him at all, bringing up the fact that around 2 months before the Reddit post was made, he attempted to buy the subreddit from the moderators out of arrogance, demanding that he be able to control what people can say about him and his game. They of course refused. Find any comment bad-mouthing him and his response will be childish, pathetic, and needlessly aggressive. And no point is more justified than that against his coding. Now, coding is the most important part of a game, more important than the models or the animation or the story. If the game does not have any code behind it, it physically doesn't exist. And Yandere Simulator is not an exception. Before we jump into this section, I want to make something clear. While as of a few months ago, I am not pursuing coding as a career, I have already completed multiple units and classes on the subject in a variety of languages, and I still pursue it as a partial hobby. Now, there's not a whole lot of solid evidence on his code, seeing as it's continuously being changed, and we have to wait for him to voluntarily release it through pictures, on videos, on streams. We don't actually have an open source version of his code. This makes sense in theory, because if a coder came along with more experience than him, who could complete a project faster than him, they could take parts of his code and reuse them and monetize a similar product before he was able to get Yandere Simulator out. However, no coder with even a slight bit more experience would want to touch this piece of shit with a 10-foot pole. In a previous section of this video, I talked about how Iggy was his main inspiration for wanting to create a game independently. What I left out was it was also his main inspiration for wanting to learn how to code. Self-teaching himself to code, specifically. As far as we can tell, he does not have any formal education in coding. The closest thing he has is an animation associate's degree from Santa Monica College, which was an online course completable in 2 years. This information was found on a site called Kiwi Farms, which is unsurprisingly quite the source of ire for YandereDev. The users on this site bring into question the validity of his degree, especially in its targeted field. One user states the possible broadness of the course to be quite confusing in trying to ascertain YandereDev's proficiency in anything. Although he did hold a job for 3 years in the game development industry, it's unknown what he actually did and to what level of proficiency. Quite a few users of the site and some of his fans have found issue in his continued use of volunteers for his animation and modeling rigs, seeing as he has a degree in animations and yet he requires volunteers to do the work for him. In fact, the lack of a male animation rig was actually quite an issue for him. It was holding up progress significantly, which leads us to believe he doesn't have any useful knowledge or experience in designing and developing a game. YandereDev, however, has stated that coding will be the main role he feels in the development of the game. And while it is very common for coders to learn independently from institutions when they're starting off, many, especially those going into a professional field, do go on to actual education to fill in the gaps. This is because guides and tutorials don't explicitly teach you common practices for coding. YandereDev's work looks like a question you would receive on an exam telling you, fix every mistake, and it's a 25-mark question. There's a lot wrong with his work, is what I'm saying. He used the Unity engine to develop Yandere Simulator, and still continues to do so, although in an updated version. And despite Unity sometimes being mocked, it is still at least somewhat optimal at developing the game that he's trying to make. The language that he used, however, was JavaScript. Now, JavaScript, not to be mistaken with Java, is technically an object-oriented language, something I don't have time to explain. What you do have to know is that not everyone considers it to be one because it's not actually a complete class-based language. Most of the time, such a small, insignificant detail would not affect anything, because any time that such a problem would come up, you would just use a different language. It's not really that big of an issue. However, that small detail, that small problem, is its lack of an easy way to implement one of the 4 principles of object-oriented programming, a principle being inheritance, which is really fucking important, especially when reusing code. It's part of the reason that the game in its original prototype phase ran at such a terrible and inconsistent frame rate. If you have 2 objects that use similar code but aren't exact copies of each other, it's great to use inheritance because it just removes a lot of code chunks that would slow down everything. Unfortunately, JavaScript is not the best language to do that because of the sacrifices that need to be made. Luckily, God has sent us mercy, and on the 1st of March 2017, he announced he would be working with TinyBuild, who would be giving him the resources and tools he would need to finish the game in his own original design. Resources like a coder who would be changing the Virgin JavaScript code into the Chad C# code, which is a language me and many other people are more comfortable with and is more suited to the game, by far. To show you how better suited C# was for developing the game, the largest possible start time for JavaScript was 90 seconds, while the smallest being 30. C# cut that down to a constant 5 seconds, which is fucking nothing. In 4 months, a programmer from an indie game studio cut down the possible startup time of the game from 90 seconds to 5. All because Yandere Dev is terribly incompetent as a programmer. The small amount of solid evidence that I mentioned before presents a level of coding that can be found in someone after an hour of mediocre teaching. This picture is quite a popular meme because it shows the stark difference between how extravagantly he is paid and supported to the actual level of coding you receive in the product. Now, the first thing that bugs me about this picture is the amazing lack of comments, which they don't actually have an effect on the code and they don't affect the compile time. However, they're used to indicate what the following code actually does, or leave to-do notes, or just tell you how things work. This is when you, the avid supporter, pulls out the trump card out of the ace in the sleeve or whatever the fuck. Because he's a one-man team. He doesn't need comments. He stated before, he only intended for this to be a one-man project. No. Yeah, that's not really how it works. If there's anything I have learnt from my teachers, it's that there is never a reason to not comment on every single fucking line of code. This is because there have been times where I can't understand a line of code when it was written by me like 2 weeks ago. People forget what their code does. In fact, it's even easier to be confused or forget what your code does when, there's a few thousand lines of it. The second flaw I can point out is this if-else statement, which, as my good friend who has been in the field for multiple years puts it, what? I personally, along with a few other million people, would use a switch statement because it is vastly more efficient in this situation. Someone on the Program Humor subreddit suggested a dictionary. Now, I don't understand dictionaries because as soon as I fucking learnt them, I just hated them, so I just forgot. I would still agree with this statement because anything is better than the if-else. Genuinely anything. There is this amazing clip, however, of him defending his use of the if-else statement. Give it a little watch. Tell me what you think. If you survive, you might not. Just fair warning.
I bet someone's going to give me a hard time for this. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that someone's going to give me a hard time because they see the way that I do this. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's teacher 2. It's teacher 3. It's teacher 4. It's teacher 5. Teacher hair 5. Teacher hair 4. Teacher hair 3. Teacher hair 2. Now, I'm sure that if a real programmer saw this, they'd say, dude, what the fuck are you doing? First of all, why are you using else ifs instead of using switch cases? Also, why don't you just parse the last character of the string and then parse that into an int, and put that in the array. What are you doing, dude? Where did you learn how to code? To which I would say, I never had a formal education in learning how to code properly. I just do what works. Sure, it's like 20 lines instead of 1 line, but it functionally does the same thing, and it doesn't... The user's never going to see this. The user will never encounter this. It doesn't matter to the user. If this was an operation that was run on every frame of the game, I would make it airtight. I would make it as efficient and optimized as could possibly be. But instead, this is just like for generating the portraits.
No! He is correct in saying that, well, it's code that only I will ever use. It's not running on every frame of the game. It's just for the portraits. It doesn't matter. That's correct. However, you can't really imply that you only use inefficient if-else statements with code that only you will use, because you use inefficient if-else statements in every single fucking line of code. A case statement would change the code so that if a teacher witnessed your insanity, it wouldn't have to scrub through every other possible option before it reached the correct one. It would just immediately know which one it was and save quite a bit of time. Contextually, of course, it's only a few milliseconds. You may be thinking, well, it's nothing, a few milliseconds here and there, that's not going to make the code so much more inefficient. You're just nitpicking, you're just being a pretentious, snobby prick. In reality, a single if-else statement that should be a switch statement is not going to cause that much of an inefficiency. However, when you just have massive